Join me as I put my patience to the test and see how long I can wait for this moment I've been anticipating. Let me talk to you about something most people miss while they're busy surviving. Something deep, something sacred, your calling. Now I ain't talking about your job. I'm not talking about your title. I'm talking about that thing inside you that won't sit still. That whisper you hear late at night when the noise dies down. That feeling in your gut that says, you are made for more. You've been taught to wait for the degree, wait for the validation, wait for the right time, the right people, the perfect conditions. But let me tell you from experience, if you keep waiting on the right moment, you'll wait your whole life. I've seen people with gold in their hearts and fire in their minds bury themselves under someday. They've been trained to believe that calling only comes with credentials. But I'm here to tell you that's a lie. The world isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to show up real, and I get it. Maybe you don't feel ready. Maybe you don't even know what your calling is. That's okay. The truth is, you find it not by waiting, but by moving, by taking one step forward when it doesn't make sense, by saying yes to the thing that scares you more than it comforts you, by following what lights you up, even if nobody claps yet. I remember when I was flunking out of college, I wasn't focused, wasn't even sure why I was there. But in the middle of my uncertainty, God sent someone to speak into me. She didn't know me. I didn't pay her. She said, "Young man, you're going to travel the world and speak to millions." Now hear me when I say this. That didn't feel real to me at the time. I didn't see that version of myself yet. But her words planted something. A seed, and seeds don't bloom overnight. They go underground, they break apart. They go through something before they ever touch the sun. So maybe right now you feel buried, overwhelmed, overlooked. But maybe you're not buried. Maybe you're planted, and if you're planted, then you're about to rise. You've been waiting on a sign. Let this be it. That fire in you, it's not random. That pull you feel, it's not a distraction. That thing you can't stop dreaming about, that's your soul remembering who it came here to be. Stop hitting the snooze button on your life. Wake up, not just out of bed. Wake up to who you are. Wake up to what's been placed inside you. Wake up to the fact that somebody out there is waiting on your voice, your story, your courage. Not tomorrow, but now. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs you. Authentic, raw, in process you, showing up before you're fully ready. You daring to believe that your existence is not an accident. You don't have to see the whole picture. Just take the next step in faith. And when doubt knocks, answer it with action. Because the only thing more painful than chasing your calling is ignoring it. And I promise you this, when you finally move in the direction of your calling, life starts to move with you, doors open, favor finds you, and you begin to walk, not just in success, but in significance. So stand up, speak up, start now, because what you've been waiting for has been waiting for you all along. Fear is a funny thing. It dresses up in logic. It speaks in your own voice. It pretends it's protecting you, like a bodyguard posted at the door of your destiny. You know what fear says? It says, wait a little longer. Let's just get a little more ready. Don't risk looking foolish. What if you fail? But let me tell you something. Fear is a master illusionist. It will build a cage around your greatness and call it being realistic. It will shrink your dreams into checklists and your potential into silence. And the worst part, fear doesn't have to be true to be powerful. It just has to be loud enough to keep you still. Now faith. Faith don't shout like fear does. Faith doesn't knock you over with volume. Faith whispers. Faith sits in the stillness and says, move anyway. Go. Even if your knees shake. Take the step, even when the path ain't clear. Let me share something personal with you. There were times I stood on a stage, or in front of a camera, or walked into a room where the expectations were heavy, and the voices in my head said, you don't belong here. They're gonna find out you're not as good as they think. But you know what I learned, those voices, they're just echoes of fear, and fear only grows when you feed it silence and inaction. So I started feeding something else. I started feeding faith, and faith isn't about certainty, it's about trust. Faith says, I don't have to see the finish line to run this race. I don't have to feel fearless to move forward. I just have to believe that what's meant for me won't miss me. Faith, my friend, is choosing to show up before the breakthrough. It's doing the work when nobody's clapping. It's building the thing when the bank account is light, the critics are loud, and the odds are stacked. Faith is what allows you to walk into a room you're not qualified for and still lead it, because faith doesn't rely on credentials. It runs on conviction, and hear me, you are not here by accident. The very fact that you have that dream, that vision, that ache to do more, that's evidence, that's proof, because God doesn't give you a glimpse of something He doesn't plan to grow in you. So yes, fear will knock. It always does, but you don't have to let it in. You don't have to water it, nurture it, rehearse it in your mind like a script. Instead, choose faith, even if your hands tremble, even if your voice cracks, even if you have to whisper your way into your next chapter, because faith isn't waiting for fear to leave. Faith is moving with fear sitting in the backseat, but never giving it the wheel. And when you take that step, when you act on what you believe instead of what you fear, something shifts. Doors you never imagined open, people you never expected show up, strength you never felt begins to rise. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to move, and when you do, you'll realize what I had to learn the hard way. The miracle is always on the other side of motion, and motion powered by faith. That's how history gets made. Let's get one thing straight. Talent is a gift. Yeah, it'll open doors, it'll get you seen, maybe even celebrated, but talent alone, it won't carry you through the storm. It won't hold you up when everything inside you wants to sit down. It won't keep you from drifting when the spotlight fades and the applause dies down. That's where purpose comes in. See, when you're driven by purpose, you move different. You don't chase trends, you chase truth. You don't just aim to succeed, you aim to serve. You stop asking, what can I get from this? And start asking, what can I give through this? Purpose gives your talent direction. It takes raw skill and turns it into something that impacts lives, something that lasts. And when you know why you're doing something, deep down in your spirit, it gives you a kind of resilience talent can't provide. You think I never wanted to quit. You think there weren't times when the role felt too heavy, the pressure too loud, the sacrifice too steep. There were days I questioned whether I was built for this. But then I remembered, this wasn't just about me, this was bigger. This was about legacy, about walking the path so someone behind me didn't have to crawl, about being a living testimony that your past doesn't get to write your future. And let me tell you something powerful. When you align your movement with your mission, things start to change, not just around you, within you, because now you're not hustling for validation. You're not performing for acceptance. You're not out here just trying to prove you're worthy. You know you are, and now you're moving from that truth. Purpose isn't always loud. It doesn't always feel glamorous. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's hard. But it's always real. It's the reason you keep going when the finish line isn't in sight. It's what keeps your feet moving when your heart's been broken. It's what gets you up early and keeps you up late. Not because someone told you to, but because you can't not do the thing you were made to do. Purpose keeps you grounded. It keeps you from running every time things get uncomfortable. Because when you're walking in purpose, comfort is no longer your goal. Impact is. And don't get it twisted. Moving with purpose doesn't mean you won't fall. It means you'll fall forward. It means every setback becomes a setup. Every rejection becomes redirection. Every no becomes part of the yes that's coming. You start to walk into rooms not wondering if you belong, but knowing that your presence carries something no one else can bring. Not arrogance, assignment, not ego, calling. That's what makes you unstoppable. Not the gift, but the grit. Not the spotlight, but the spirit behind why you do what you do. So when people ask, how do you keep going? You tell them, I'm not just chasing a dream, I'm fulfilling a duty. Because when your movement is powered by purpose, you don't just arrive, you transform. You don't just succeed, you shift the atmosphere. You don't just show up, you show the way, and that's how you leave a legacy. So now you've heard it, what you've been waiting for, not from the world, not from the crowd, from you. Because that voice deep inside, that feeling you can't ignore, That quiet insistence pulling you toward more. That's not noise, that's your calling, that's your purpose, that's your time right now. You don't need more signs, you are the sign. You don't need a green light, you are the engine. And you sure don't need permission to be who you were born to be. You've been asleep long enough, fear has kept the mic long enough, doubt has driven the car long enough, now it's your turn. Move like you know why you're here, speak like you've already been chosen. Act like your future's on the line, because it is, and understand this. When you wake up to your calling, when you choose faith over fear, when you move with relentless purpose, you become unstoppable. Not because it's easy, but because it's true. So the next time someone asks you, what are you waiting for? You look them dead in the eye and say, nothing, I'm already in motion. The wait is over. Your name's being called. Your moment is now. Go get it.